Pass it to Griffey. Layup is gone. It's gone. What a game! They're rushing the court. What a game! Illini have won on a Griffey layup. They have upset number one. Sheelow steps up, going deep. Got Langford over the middle. 30 of Western Michigan to the 20 to the 10. He's gone. Touchdown, Illinois.
Welcome to the Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. Thank you for joining us here on this Monday evening. I'm Jamal Collier, your host here, joined by my partners, I guess we'll call them, I'll use that term loosely, Torrance Sorrell, Elliott Sill, and Alex Ortiz. And a lot to get to in a jam-packed show here today. Illinois basketball has finally got a win for the first time in about forever.
A little more than a month.
Month and change. It's a big news in college basketball, just nationally, as college sports, I should say, nationally. The potentially first player to play in the NFL, openly gay. And we also have a little bit of altercation between a fan and a player.
A little bit.
A little tiny altercation. We also got the Illinois baseball team joining us here. They'll be on at about 6:20. Talk about their season. Baseball, what do you mean? There's negative degrees out right now. But they're going out to the south in Florida to get their season underway. Seems really early, February 15th or 14th this weekend. For all those listen to the show as well, you can follow us along on Twitter. That's at Illini Drive. And listen to the show online on WPGU.com. And also you can check us out on UPTV, Urbana Public Television, every Wednesday at 9. I want to thank the good folks of UPTV for coming out and filming us. They don't have a whole lot to work with, but they got something to come and look at us, I guess. We're going to give away 2 tickets for the Ohio State game at the State Farm Center this Saturday night. That's going to come later in the show. You got to tune in for your chance to win those tickets. It's 217-337-1071. Again, that's 217-337-1071. Call in, get those tickets, and get to see this Illinois basketball team, which has turned it around. A victory for the first time in a month, and big thanks to Kendrick Nunn and Malcolm Hill. Led the Illini in scoring, the two did. The first time that John Gross decided to shake up his lineup and put in the 2 freshmen, Iki and Bertrand. See you later. We'll put them on the bench and get those guys in there and provide a real spark. And I'm wondering, guys, is it time for a full youth movement here at Illinois?
Pretty much, I have to throw this out at first because you normally get me on my predictions, but
that are normally wrong. Normally, if Torrance says it, guys, go the other way because it's not going to be right. You're a bad man.
But this time around, I remember one of the first shows we had, and we talked about who's going to be one of the players to watch out for, and I said Kendrick Nunn, and you guys kind of laughed at first because all you guys said Ray Rice. I remember that clearly in my mind.
I mean, Ray Rice is still the best player.
He's clearly still the best on the team.
But absolutely, Kendrick Nunn has definitely stepped up his performance of lately. And it's interesting when you compare the Kendrick Nunn we've been seeing lately to the Kendrick Nunn that we saw at the beginning of the season. He just looked kind of skittish out there on the court, like he wasn't quite comfortable with the college game. He's certainly developed in that regard.
Where is he from again?
Chicago.
Exactly. Best talent. Best basketball talent.
No Peoria guys on the team. We got a Chicago. I think that's a slight upgrade. Yeah. No offense.
Were you impressed with what Kendrick Nunn did, or shocked at all, even maybe, with how good he really looked on Sunday?
Not really. I actually remember, I'm pretty sure it was the first time that they played Penn State. I loved his toughness. He's not afraid to get into guys' grills. He's not afraid to take it to the hoop now, as of late. So I kind of saw that, and I thought, man, this kid's nice. Because not to say that the other freshmen didn't, have their moments of, like, I don't want to say that they were lost. They didn't seem to have that kind of as much tenacity or as much, like, willingness to really take it to someone. So
when you talk about that first game against Penn State, that's when he got into it with Tim Frazier. And got Frazier kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
So, hey, maybe he needs to just play Penn State a little more.
Maybe.
Okay. Time for a full youth movement is a time really to just see what these freshmen can do.
I think it is. I think the important part about the timing of this move is that I don't think Gross wanted to put these guys out there in a position where they could potentially screw up the season. Season's already gone. If you want to make a run in the Big Ten tournament, possibly get some stuff going, but you're not making it on your regular season resume unless you win out, and even then's a maybe. So I think Gross figured, nothing to lose really. Let's go out there and give these guys a shot. And I think the lack of pressure really helped them perform at a level we hadn't seen them perform at yet this year.
Yeah, I definitely think it's good. Definitely for the youth movement, and you kind of see that these are really Gross guys, because some of the last class he had, that was more so of Weber's recruits, but this is really Gross' first full class of recruits. So it's real good to see some of those guys get in and have some fresh legs, and it's definitely a good look for the future.
Yeah, why not? Why not just have them become even more comfortable together? They seem to play very well together. So why not have that established right now, so that we always kind of said that this team was built more for the future, and might as well start the future now.
I, for one, love the move. Even at the start of the year, I said, you know what? When I put the starting lineup out and it was all the freshmen on the bench, and I said, I would rather put Bertrand on the bench, and I thought Kendrick Nunn is probably the most ready to play now because he's just an athlete. I said, put Bertrand on the bench and start one of the young guys, so you don't have a bench that's completely, hasn't played. And Bertrand's probably better served to come off the bench, because a lot of times he can play out there, and he gives you a scoring burst.
Yeah, he's a good energy guy. Definitely,
Exactly.
We saw him thrive in that role last year. I think
exactly. And again, I think stars and bench players are made up a little too much anyway, because Manu Ginobili came off the bench forever.
Still is.
and he's going to play his 30 minutes or going to get your 28 minutes or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Bertrand still gets a bunch of the minutes, but I think you just provide some kind of spark so your second unit isn't just killing you every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this move was, maybe a little too late.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Should've
that's one way to view it. I don't know how easy you can just say, all right, we're going to start a freshman right off, because I honestly don't think any of these guys were ready to play at the start of the year. You mentioned Kendrick. But
Kendrick didn't look very good, especially those first couple games. So
Jalen was honestly the freshman that stood out most earliest.
Yeah.
But, you don't want to play him over Tracy Abrams, I don't think.
And playing them both is nothing.
So I think it's one of those things, you want to look back and see what you could have done differently now that you have found some success. And keep in mind, success, air quotes, is beating Penn State by 5 points. So we haven't struck gold quite yet, but I think it's...
But we like to overreact, and it's the first time in a month that we got a victory here, longest losing streak in 40 years, and you're already saying, hey, relax. When we want to get excited here, okay? We haven't got anything to get excited back in a while.
Yeah. I think it's exciting. Keep them in the lineup as long as this is, the good juices are flowing.
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes. Maybe Kendrick can take a significant step or two more before the end of the year.
Now, John Gross has said that he is leaning toward keeping this lineup as the game for the next game against Nebraska. He kind of joked and said, unless they come, their heads can't fit through the door. If their heads are too big for all the everything they're going to get these next couple of days. But I'm wondering about the older players. And, as far as you have Bertrand and Iki, obviously have to take a run to the bench. Should they be taking that a little personally, or for the team?
Yeah, I think there's no way if you're Joseph Bertrand that you don't take it personally when you were looked at as someone who was supposed to step up and be maybe this team's go-to guy at the beginning of the year. But at the same time, you have to have confidence that you can thrive off the bench and sort of combine those two. Combine the motivation of being benched with the confidence that you have been a dominant, bench spark plug in the past, and I mean, really put that to use. Iki's case is a little different. Him being a fifth-year senior, I think, coming over sort of, in the spot fill-in, as the power forward. But I'd be interested to see how he handles it.
Yeah, I agree too. I feel like Bertrand would definitely take it more harder because, it felt like he's been on this team forever. 5-year senior, and it's just all about a whole trust thing. Most of the players, normally we talk to them during the interviews, they say they want to do whatever is best for the team, but you're really going to see how would this play out, especially for the seniors. It's just kind of hard. You have your only 2 seniors on the team, and they potentially might come off the bench. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses throughout the season.
Yeah. And I know Iki came in and he responded quite well. I know that Coach Gross said something about that he pretty much reacted the way that you probably wanted to.
And again, it goes back to something I just said a couple minutes ago, is that I think Bertrand and they should be okay with it, because you know what? If he'd been the hot guy down the stretch, he'd been in instead of none.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think basically he's had that flexibility now to say they're playing. If Hill and Nunn are playing well, they'll be in. If not, Iki and Bertrand will be in when a game is down the stretch.
And we spend a lot of time talking about Kendrick Nunn. Malcolm Hill was was really the unsung freshman in this class. I mean, behind those guys and Maverick Morgan, but he's really stepped up. And whenever he's been in, it's typically been a good thing for the Illini. I mean, he's had young mistakes, but I mean, you had him drawing the charge late in the game last week. That was a crucial moment, and he actually had 7 points really early in the game, got Illinois off to a good start. So he's definitely contributed a lot more than I think most people expected him to.
Now, Illinois this next coming week has got Nebraska on Wednesday. They travel to Lincoln, and then they go to at home against Ohio State. Are you guys ready to overreact? Just say they're going to win both of those games. But let's break it down and first go Wednesday. Got to go at Nebraska because, as you did mention, Penn State is probably now number 12. We're ranking our Big Ten team. They're probably last.
12th of 10, yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Illinois is 11th of 10.
Yeah, Illinois is 11. And Nebraska's probably another team that's probably 10.
Yeah.
Funny that both losing streaks, Illinois football broke theirs finally, was against Purdue, who was easily the worst team in the Big Ten, and now Penn State's probably the worst team.
There's a certain logic to that.
Exactly. That Illinois is not the worst. So that's all we need here. But Nebraska, it was already a winnable game. Now it feels like it's a lot more winnable. Is that fair to say? And do you think Illinois comes away with this game?
I think it's. I'm trying. I don't want to.
Go ahead.
I'd probably say they'll take this one. If they just come out with that same intensity, hopefully the freshmen don't come out big-headed, but if they just stay humble and keep that confidence up, I think they could probably take another good road win.
They're better on their rebounding, definitely. I think now that we have more of an opportunity to see how the freshmen play together, if they can keep this up, I don't see any reason why not, but then again, we didn't see any reason why not they couldn't win against Northwestern or Purdue earlier. So
please don't mention that game. That game was terrible. That Northwestern game.
I mean, most people don't. You don't think of Nebraska as a basketball school. They're definitely a football school. And coming from the Big 12, that was sort of their MO. But they've beaten some Big Ten teams here. They've beaten Ohio State and Indiana, and I mean, we think Northwestern's a joke, right, Jamal? But
yes.
but and Minnesota. So they've proved they can hang. At the very least. Having said that, they've gotten blown out a couple times. But Illinois, I don't think, is a team that's going to blow them out of the water. It's going to be another grinded-out game, sort of similar to the one at Penn State. And basically it's going to come down to crunch time, I think. Illinois has struggled in the past, but I think with the weight of the losing streak lifted off their shoulders, they're more likely to succeed. I could see this game going either way.
We're putting you on the spot, so you don't even say if you are. Give us a pick.
I'm going to go with Illinois. I think.
Well, you said you wouldn't pick Illinois until they won, and now
they won.
And
so I'm not going to pick them until they lose.
I'm not going to not pick them.
I'm not by myself no more.
Yeah. I think Illinois is going to win this game as well. I think the momentum from one game obviously sounds ridiculous, but I think, like you said, it's a bit of a confidence boost for them. And I could see them going out and definitely beating Nebraska. I don't think Nebraska's that good, but yeah, just a very winnable game for Illinois, and they're playing with some confidence now. Definitely a win, and then you go to Ohio State.
Well, you host them.
Right, you're hosting Ohio State on Saturday. You got a couple of victories in a row. Again, we're talking about confidence, talking about momentum. Now things are starting to build. You got a home game that I'm guessing, depending on the weather, would probably get sold pretty well if you've got a team that's at least won a couple games in a row, some freshmen doing things that are exciting. I'm going to pick Illinois to probably win that game. If they're on a 2-game winning streak, I would not be surprised if Illinois comes out and beats Ohio State, because Ohio State is very vulnerable.
Well, depending on what type of Ohio State team is going to come out, is it going to be the Aaron Kraft team that came out and played Illinois last time, or the Aaron Kraft team that beat Iowa on the road? If lately Ohio State has actually been playing pretty good, so if they keep that up, I think Ohio State is probably going to win this game. They're going to be 1-1.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I think Ohio State really dictates this game. If they come out and they play their as well as they can, I think that they'll take charge and they'll win the game. If they come out lazy and overlooking Illinois, I think Illinois will jump up and beat them. But either way, I think it's on Ohio State. I do think Ohio State will come ready to play and will pull out the win.
Yeah, I really can't disagree with that. yeah, the guard position in terms of craft, I've seen him. I have too much confidence in him. I think you're getting a little too ahead of yourself by even just saying that that's a possibility, but you never know.
Well, normally I'm on the other side of the fence here picking Illinois to lose by myself. And now
Negative Nancy over there.
And now I'm thinking, you know what? I was impressed by what I saw these last couple of games, even the losses, that they're probably playing some of their best ball in the conference, definitely, these last maybe 3 games. So I think that they build some momentum, get them at home, catch Ohio State on a bad day. We're having some good feelings here today. It's not that cold today. I wasn't that cold. So that's,
it was super cold today.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I think somebody said it was negative.
It's supposed to get down to -12 tonight. Okay. So everybody
bundle up.
Stay inside.
Stay in,
Oh, my gosh.
Turn your heat up. Well, what are you doing on February 14th?
February 14th,
Yeah.
I think me and my lady friend are going to have a nice candlelit dinner at, Bread Company. Do you have any better ideas?
Well, if you're looking for somewhere to celebrate Valentine's Day, you can come to WPGU's Bitterness Bash. That's February 14th at 9 p.m., hosted by Firehouse, and it's located at 708 South 6th Street. Is that Firehouse location? I'm not sure. But share the
It's
best.
at Firehouse. You know where it is.
Yeah, okay. But if you share your best hookup horror story you've gotten from this love's bitter past, and maybe to find yourself with a vacation package to Miami with an airfare for 1 and hotel reservation for 2. So you get 1 ticket on. Wait.
So you find someone.
Hey, meet me in Miami.
That sounds like a good time.
Wait. No, maybe. Yeah, is that right? Somebody tell me about this promo here. I got an airfare for 1, and then I get 2 nights, or do I get 2? Maybe that's it. You get 2 nights. So I go by myself.
You get 2 something. And you're in Miami, so it can't be that bad.
Well, maybe you should get the second place prize. That's another pair of Blackhawks tickets. I'll go to Blackhawks.
There you go.
Miami, I don't need to see that.
No, I need to go to Miami.
It sounds like a good time. I might have to break up with my girlfriend so I can
and get a chance to win these tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
With drink specials LA, it'll be $3 Bud Light bottles, $3 Jim Beans, and $3.99 Firehouse fries. So you can get all fattened up and drunk if you do not have anything to do on Valentine's Day. That's the Bitterness Bash this Friday, I believe, is Valentine's Day. Shows you how much I care about that holiday. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Yeah, let's shy the people away. We're going to take a commercial break. When we get back, Illinois Baseball is going to be coming in and joining us here a little bit later. Also talking to Ryan Hood from the Columbia, Missouri, and he's going to give us what's the reaction on Mizzou campus. That's coming at about 6:40 to the idea from Michael Sam. We also got some stuff to talk about with college basketball and Marcus Smart. We're going to get into that a little bit when we get back. You'll find out. It's the Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
Back to the Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1. We are joined here by our good friends of the show, Kevin Duchesne, the pitcher from the Illinois baseball team. He's a sophomore, and we'll read his accolades later here. And also Will Krug, a junior, moving to center field now, walk-on last year, and is now part of the show, part of the team. Guys, how are we doing today?
Good. How are you, Jamal?
Doing well. Just coming over from practice. Just ended moments ago, huh?
Yeah, we rushed out of there. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So that's what the smell is. Thought it was maybe LA, but it's not. We're kidding. Now, what we're talking about baseball here is -8 outside, so it feels a little weird. But you guys are going to Atlanta for this first series on Thursday. You guys are leaving out.
Yeah, that's right.
And starting to play on Friday. First part of the schedule. Do you guys enjoy this part? Because this first month of the schedule, you guys are not at home at all and traveling around. How do you guys feel about the schedule?
Well, I mean, from like a standpoint of like school, it's kind of hard. You're missing out every Friday class, but at the same time, that's kind of nice.
You gotta get your schedule set up. Where you don't have to take classes on Fridays.
Yeah, right. But being away from home is pretty hard. A lot of the parents travel though, so that's nice.
Okay.
Kind of given a little bit of a home experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to get to go to these places, but at the same time, you got to get your work done, and you don't get to go home as much. So, yeah, it's fun to go to the places.
I was gonna say, do they give you guys like a lot of free time to sort of like hang out? Are you guys like gonna hang out in Atlanta at all? Or
I mean, once business is done, you got a little bit of time, but at the same time, you don't want to, you don't want to be out too late because obviously you're playing the next day, and that's ultimately what you're there for.
Yeah, there's a lot of like card playing and activities like that. So.
Okay. Well, who are the card players? Who are the best card players on the team?
Best card player. Oh, those are the pitchers.
Oh,
they
yeah.
got a little bit more time than we do.
Chase, that was an easy one. Road trips. Do you guys look at the schedule and see any road trips we're excited for or kind of stand out for you?
Oh, yeah, going down to Florida, obviously huge. Going down playing in Gainesville, in the swamp. We got Florida Gulf Coast, and then obviously Florida, and then
is that 2 weeks or
that's the
2 weeks?
That's the third.
That's
week.
the third week.
Third week.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. But then the second weekend too is going to be a lot of fun. Going down to Myrtle Beach, playing Coastal.
Yeah. That's we did that. We went down to Coastal my freshman year, which was not last year but 2 years ago. So it was a good experience. Looking forward to it again. So.
Yeah. I was really disappointed that the Mizzou game in Busch Stadium didn't work out. That you guys couldn't get that again. I've been to that the last 2 years.
I saw that we saw that on the schedule. It looked like originally it was set for Busch Stadium and now it's to be determined, and that was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is.
Especially getting to playing those big league ballparks. I know last year, it was a real treat for the whole team.
Yeah, it's fun for us media people to sit around there. Now, Will, last year you walked onto the team.
I walked on
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
And then last year you get in there, you earn a starting spot. We're playing very well, and then you break your arm.
Yeah.
And was it Michigan State or?
It was Indiana.
Indiana, okay. Break your arm there for the second half of the year. I'm guessing the arm is fine now, obviously.
Yeah, my arm's all good right now.
Now your eye is obviously not well. However.
Yeah,
He's got a
like
tell a
I
story to that.
told you, don't try to bunt baseballs with your face. It doesn't. The ball, you may get the bunt down, but it doesn't work out good for your face.
Go too well. Yeah, and we also took some TV cameras here for you, so it looks real nice and tough.
Yeah, I know. I know when people look at me in class and that, they're just like, "Oh, that kid got in a fight with someone." I'm like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. And now this year you were in right field for most of last year and left.
Yeah, that's left every once in a while, mostly right though.
But you're transitioning now to center field.
Yep.
What are the challenges of playing in that different position?
I may be flip flopping around a little bit between right and center. Honestly, this year, trying to figure out who's playing where, and center is just got to cover a little bit more ground and be a little bit more vocal as the center fielder with the other outfielders, and then with right field, depending on where the sun's at, stuff like that, and the fence and. You get a little bit more heckling in right field, so you get to have fun with that, I guess.
Yeah. For you, Kevin, hell of a freshman year. You come out and you became the team's #1 starter at the end, and you've been shakes his head or whatever. And then you've been named the All Big Ten from a couple different sites as well for this year. Were you ever surprised or shocked at how well you did that first year? Have you kind of just thought about that?
I had a great team last year. We have a great team again this year, but playing for that team last year was a real honor. So I guess, am I surprised by my success? Not really, because when you're playing around so many great players, success kind of comes.
Yeah. So how do you top it this year? What do you do for an encore? What are your expectations?
Just go out there and do what I do. Leave nothing behind. It's gonna be hard, but at the same time, I feel like this team's ready for it.
Yeah. Now, as a staff, pitching wise, you guys have a lot coming back. How good can this staff really kind of be?
I truthfully think that we have one of the top staffs in the nation. We're returning all three of our kind of final weekend starters. Not losing too much in the bullpen. B-Rob gone. I feel like we got a couple really power arms that can step up and fill that void. But I truthfully think that we, if not the best in the Big Ten, even nationally.
Yeah. Were you taking them on Friday, #1? Have they told you that yet?
Yeah.
Okay. For you, does that put any different kind of role that now you know that I'm the guy, I guess, so far?
Not really. Every game's the same. Obviously, you go out there and you give it all and you want to win. But, it is an honor being the opening day starter. But I don't really treat it, any differently. I just want to go out there and shove,
Yeah. Well, you faced this pitching staff in practice.
I just got done facing them today.
Yeah. You got a black guy for every success.
Yeah, right.
So how is it facing the staff? What kind of challenges do you
our pitching staff?
Yeah.
Pretty good, really good. They looked, we lost, I think, Kevin Johnson, who was the #1 but was hurt at the end of the season last year anyway.
He had been there for 4 years is kind of the number.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but we retained most of it. They're all doing great. They look really good, especially at the indoor. We always struggle as hitters with the lighting in the indoor situation.
So they got an advantage. Kevin's looking there really good.
I'm not saying that.
Debatable.
Yeah.
Very debatable.
Now this the lineup. Obviously, no Justin, Jordan Parr are both gone. Lindauer's gone. So it seems like there's a hole that was there in the middle from last year.
Yeah.
You know, how those holes going to be filled? How's it looking so far?
Right now we got some guys stepping up, playing positions, and we're a young team. You can look at it and tell that. And every game will just be a fight and scrappy. And guys like Zach Kolakowski will step in, I think, and David Kirian's obviously back, filling the main position in the middle there. So we're looking forward to a couple guys coming in here.
So what do you guys think is sort of the biggest a challenge that this team has to overcome for this upcoming season? What is sort of the weakness that you guys got to shore up before the contract?
I just say losing both the Parr brothers and Kevin Johnson was a big hit to our leadership. It's kind of at the beginning, that you got guys kind of looking for some guidance, and I feel like they're starting to find their way. But initially, I feel like leadership was probably the biggest thing that we had to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, you just when you look at guys like that, they bring a lot of confidence and experience to the table, which helps out the young guys a ton. And so when you have a lot of older guys, it helps out, tenfold. So.
And who's kind of stepping into those roles, trying to fill that leadership void?
Will is. Will has greatly. I'm being dead serious with you.
Thank you.
Will's one of those guys that's in there and he works extra hard every single day. Doesn't take a rep off, and I feel like he's really shown the younger guys the way and pushed the older guys in the kids his age to do the same.
And what not to do when you get hit in the face with a ball.
Just two seniors on this team, so leadership is obviously always a question. Now, is there a freshman on this team, or maybe somebody that we're not familiar with, just hasn't played in the past, that you think fans are going to get to know here pretty quickly?
All right. Well, from my perspective, I only have one pitcher, one freshman pitcher to deal with, and I'll tell you what, he's gonna make a name for himself real quick. Cody Sedlock, unbelievable talent. Arm work's very good. He's got really good stuff. I think that he could play a big role on this team this year.
Yeah.
I think Pat McInerney, he's a big freshman, a lot bigger than I am, and I think he'll bring a good bat into the lineup. So.
With so many new guys.
Position-wise, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He'll be in the outfield, I believe. Okay. Yeah, either left field, I think, or right field.
We're not going to keep his bat out of the lineup. Yeah, he'll be in there DHing or something.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, with so many new guys on the team, what's kind of like the morale of the team? Because obviously, you had guys like Lindauer last year, was kind of like the jokester. How's kind of like the chemistry with the new guys going?
I feel like right now we got a pretty serious tone. Just because like we said, we got a lot of voids to fill, and I'd say once we start winning, maybe we'll loosen up a little bit. But right now it's all business.
And we'll let you answer that question. Go ahead and get out of here.
Okay. I think we can. I think once we get traveling and get on the bus and stuff, we'll lighten up a little bit, and guys will get to know each other a little bit better, and I think we'll become even more of a team once we start traveling and stuff. So.
Yeah. Kevin, you got a couple more minutes to stick around?
Yeah, for sure.
A bit of it? Okay. And Will Kribler, thank you for joining us here today. He's got to get out to an alumni event. And best of luck this weekend and the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Kevin, we want to go a little bit off with you. We're going to talk a little bit about Marcus Smart. And I'm sure you're through that situation in Oklahoma State as well. And I wonder if you've ever been in any kind of environment like that where the fans have made you feel uncomfortable, or you've ever felt anything, or been on a team where someone's felt like that?
I mean, ultimately, as an athlete, situations like that do occur, and it's all about how you carry yourself. I truthfully, I feel bad for them, because not everybody is put into a situation like that, and obviously, both parties were at fault. But in baseball, it's a little bit different because you don't really, get that close to fans where you could make contact or anything like that. But you go anywhere, like last year at Indiana, Hurwitz is walking up to the plate, you got Rudy.
And for us, Michael Hurwitz is about 5'1.5".
Maybe.
Yeah.
in his spikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you got to love it when fans get involved and everything like that, because that just makes the sport that much more enjoyable.
Yeah. All All right. Well, again, same to you. Best of luck this upcoming season, and we appreciate coming and joining us and everything. So
Yeah,
good luck this
anytime,
week.
Jamal.
Yeah. All right.
All right, man. Take it easy, Twins.
As
We're
well.
going to take a quick commercial break here, and when we get back, we also got some tickets to give away still later on in the show, so be tuned in for that. We're talking to Ryan Hood of the Columbia, Missouri, a little later. It's the Illini Drive here on WPGU 107.1.
You're watching Illini Drive on Urbana Public Television. Tune in Monday nights at 6 p.m. to listen live on WPGU 107.1.
WPGU in Radstock will bring you the 4th annual Friday of the DJs. It's at Clybourne's, located at 706 South 6th Street in Champaign. We're looking for the best DJ your fraternity or sorority has to offer for this 4-week competition. Now, if you've never been, it's a lot of fun. It starts this Wednesday from February 26th to March 19th. And DJs get a chance to battle out from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. and a chance to win that first prize of $1,000 and a private party for their fraternity or sorority at Clybourne's. To sign up, you got to visit WPGU.com/frattle. Have any of you guys ever attended a frattle?
I've never been before, but I heard good things.
Yeah. I went to the one at Cam's last semester at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And I never... Maybe we should get somebody to compete. Can we? We guess we're not a fraternity or a sorority, huh? Yeah. But I could do something with $1,000.
Yeah, use that.
Buy that extra plane ticket. Or that extra
for a trip, yeah. Thank you again for Illinois Baseball joining us here on the show. Follow us along at Illini Drive on Twitter. We got some updates always there. And we're also giving away tickets to the Illinois men's basketball game against Ohio State that comes right around the end of the show. The number is 217-337-1071 if you want to have it handy. A chance to win those pair of tickets. Now, Ryan Hood from the Columbia, Missouri is going to be joining us in a little bit here. But first, I want to talk a little bit again about Marcus Smart. We asked Shane about it. And if you haven't heard it by now, Smart plays for Oklahoma State. And a Texas Tech fan said something to him that it enraged him enough that he shoves the fan and had to really be restrained and was still kind of going off for a couple more minutes. Smart gets a 3-game suspension. The Texas Tech fan comes out. Originally, Smart said the fan had called him a racial slur. Fan comes out and says, "No, I did not. I called him a piece of crap." And that's not cleaning anything up. He says I called him a piece of crap, and it's now voluntarily said I'm not going to go to any Texas Tech games for the rest of the year. Of course, very voluntarily of that.
How noble.
Exactly. I'm kind of excited to hear what you guys think about that.
Well, I'm excited. I'm glad you asked Kevin about that, because I think really, we can sit here from our stoop and try and judge how this situation should have been handled. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you're not an athlete, you don't really know what it's like in the heat of that moment. And only Marcus Smart, certainly, he had a certain understanding of what he said. Maybe he misheard the guy, maybe not. But I think, and to clarify, he wasn't. I don't think he was going off at the fan so much as he was trying to explain to the referees and to his teammates why he had just shoved someone, because I'm sure he realized that wasn't
not normal.
Yeah. You don't just do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a very, very dicey situation. But certainly, I don't respect a fan who is going to go out and call a college athlete by a racial slur. And I do want to clarify, I just don't believe Jeffrey Orr when he says that he called him a piece of crap and that's it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe him.
I'll jump in on that because I'm in the same boat as you. That's a piece of crap. You called him a piece of crap. I am 100% certain he said something worse than that. Mm-hmm. And racial or not, at the very least, he probably said a piece of and used an expletive. Mm-hmm. At the very least. Yeah. Because know what? I forget his name off the top of my head now, from the Pacers. I'm going to look this up.
Bronard.
Meta Peace?
No. From the Indiana Pacers that played at Oklahoma, or played in I forget who it is. I had to look it up.
He get traded or something?
No, he in college, played at Texas Tech. He played from the Big 12. And he said, I remember going to Texas Tech. We knew who that was. And we had a team meeting that, hey, don't respond to this guy because he's a moron and yells things. So his guy's got a reputation for being an idiot. And I'm not a fan of people who think that because I pay my tickets or because I'm on the internet or whatever, that I can just say whatever the hell I want to anybody, because you can't. No. And, of course, should Marcus Smart have acted probably shouldn't have shoved anybody, obviously.
Would have been really nice of him to not.
Exactly. Shouldn't have done that, and of course the suspension's warranted because you can't be putting your hands on fans. But at the same time, that guy, I'm glad he's not going to be in any Texas Tech games for the rest of the year.
I saw a really interesting tweet about this from Grantland's Rembert Brown. He said, it reminds me of one of those situations where you get in trouble at school, but you come home and your mom's proud of you.
Yeah.
You know? Because if the guy did throw a racial slur out at the 19-year-old that was coming at him, that's just horrible. I'm glad somebody shoved him. Maybe it shouldn't have been Marcus Smart, but you think that's acceptable, shove off.
And I feel like he got a lot of negative backlash because of the person he is, and he has kind of that history of kind of being a little bit hard-headed. But at the same time, you have guys in the league like that who was like that in college as well. One that comes to mind is DeMarcus Cousins, the stuff he did in college. I mean, even with stuff said about Joakim Noah as well, and you can see the type of things that they're doing now in their successful NBA careers.
I'm glad he probably got that out now. I hope any kids are gonna do something a little rash, but I can't help thinking of the 30 for 30 with Winning Time, Reggie Miller and
Spike Lee.
Classic.
Yeah, so you're gonna get that anywhere, but I get annoyed too, just having someone.
That's a better thing to compare it to. People have been comparing it to the Malice at the Palace.
No, that's
ridiculous.
That was way
To cite that in comparison is stupid.
Yeah. Donald Sloan is the Pacers guard who played at Texas A&M, but in reference to an Indy Star this morning. So didn't just make that up. Another big news that came out this weekend was Michael Sam, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, goes to Mizzou. Came out and admitted he was gay. And this comes just a couple of months before the NFL draft, where he's certainly going to be selected somewhere between the second and fourth round. When he's selected, which should be almost certain, when he's selected, he'll be the first openly gay player to play in the NFL. Very gutsy move and a bold decision. And we're joined right now by the Missourian reporter, Ryan Hood. Ryan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ryan, we're glad to have you here today. Ryan has covered the football team in the past and currently covers the men's basketball team in Mizzou. Ryan, really cool thing, I thought, by Michael Sam to come out and say this, not, after he got drafted or after he already got his contract signed, but to do this now, a couple weeks before the draft. Who knew somebody that went to Mizzou could do something cool?
Yeah, and I think that made it even more kind of, courageous that he did. And from talking to a lot of people, they've kind of echoed that sentiment because, now it's out there. Now NFL scouts and GMs know, exactly who Michael Sam is, and he's okay with that, and he's embraced it, and so has most of this campus, really.
Yeah, Ryan, Elliott Sill here. I think it's interesting because you got a guy who's the ninth, what I've heard from ESPN is the ninth rated defensive end prospect, and the whole debate of would that affect his draft stock, and now we get a chance to actually just see. Well, let's see if he actually gets picked any lower because of this. I think it was a good timing move by him to get it out now, just in case there is some sort of backlash, which it doesn't appear to be. We'll be able to sort of identify it.
Yeah, what is the reaction? You're there in Columbia. What is the reaction there?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. When I turned on ESPN2 last night and saw, I didn't really know what to expect. When I went on to Facebook or Twitter and whatnot, I figured that it would be mostly positive, but I figured that I would see some, I'll just call it stupid, and I figured I wouldn't have to seek it out to find it, but there really wasn't, and it's been a total embrace on campus. I mean, it's all anybody's talking about today, and really happy for him. Really, the only angst anybody has about it seems, is just that they're kind of getting to the point where they're kind of done talking about it.
I was for once shocked that the football team from Mizzou knew, and everybody kept it a secret. Were you surprised at that at all? Were there any indications?
That's where it gets kind of odd. And there was a Sports Illustrated story this morning that was, written in Columbia. It really wasn't a secret. I mean, he told the football team in August, which nobody knew that until he revealed it last night. But numerous media outlets knew that.
Did you know?
that was the case, yeah, we did. But like, you know, why would you out him? And I mean, not only did some media outlets knew, but I mean, students knew. It was, I mean, not all students, but it wasn't a secret really. And I'm just personally glad that it worked out where he got to, you know, tell his own story on his own terms, because that's how it should be.
You know, I think it kind of says something about the respect that maybe people had for him, or that no one leaked this to anybody, or no one really, that this didn't get out nationally quicker. Because it just blows my mind that, I mean, 100 college football, more than that, would keep a secret like that and allow him to do it on his own terms, which is perfect for him.
Especially at a college campus.
Yeah.
Well, I think it also says a lot about the locker room, just the culture of like the Mizzou, football program, and to a larger extent, probably just the athletic department in general, that, they embraced it. And, there's a lot of like national pundits today, or the anonymous GMs in Sports Illustrated saying that, they don't know like if the NFL is ready for an openly gay player. Well, it clearly didn't hinder this Mizzou team this year, who, I mean, surprised everybody and was a quarter away from a national title appearance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to get into that a little bit. And you, last week, Jonathan Vilma of the Saints did come out and say to NFL Network that he's not sure he really wants a gay roommate. He says, I don't think he'd be accepted. This is a quote here. I don't think he would be accepted as much as we think he'd be accepted. When you hear something like that, you hear, obviously, everything that happened with Richie Incognito. Are you sure that maybe the NFL would just, that'd be fine? It'd be okay right now?
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a pulse on NFL locker rooms. I mean, it should. I don't know if it would, though. But, I mean, you mentioned Richie Incognito. One of the favorite tweets I saw today actually was Richie Incognito tweeting, something along the lines of, like, congratulations, like, to Michael Sam.
Really?
That one kind of caught me off guard. But in terms of the NFL, like, yeah, I know that Vilma said that last week. And I know that a ton of players and former players like Deion Sanders, took to Twitter in the last 24 hours to, embrace it, which I feel like that's to be expected. I feel like most NFL players who maybe, would be uneasy with an openly gay teammate would not be tweeting about it because they realize the ramifications of it. And there was one thing I thought of earlier this morning. Last year when Jason Collins made his announcement, Lance Briggs, I think somebody tweeted at him about, like, if he had a gay teammate, and he retweeted it. In front of it said, like, how about those Bulls, or something, like, along those lines. And I remember he caught some flack from that.
I remember something like that, too.
So, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I guess it's we're at, like, a big barometer of, like, where the NFL is really at right now.
I do think, though, however, we won't see, because what idiot would come out and speak out for really, against it openly?
Exactly.
Because that would probably cost him his job and his credible livelihood as much as it would anybody else. So,
I agree. He's gotten, for most projections, it seems like he's gotten anywhere between like a third or fourth round grade, like, somewhere in the middle rounds.
Yeah.
So if he went undrafted and didn't blow out his knee and, the training process, I think the NFL would have, there'd be some explaining to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, how does this impact this draft stock? Because I imagine a situation, if I'm a general manager, and I've got player A, and I've got Sam rated just about the same on my board. Let's say not even they're both defensive ends, but you got, a linebacker, let's say. And I got them rated just about the same, and I say, do I want to take Sam because of all the media that's going to come with it? I'm going to have TMZ at my training camp and all that stuff. Or do you think, teams would be inclined to say, you know what? Yeah, I'll take this guy because maybe good publicity for us. I'm sure Hard Knocks would not mind taking us.
Well, I'm sure Hard Knocks would love to pick the team that he's on.
Yeah,
but I see your point with the, GMs maybe weighing an equal prospect that, won't necessarily like attract the the media lightning rod that Sam will. But if he really is a middle round prospect, then in the third and fourth round he's going to be against these similar players. When you get to the sixth or seventh round, he's going to clearly be graded better than who's left on the board. So I don't really know. I mean, he's been a tweener of a prospect.
Yeah.
From what I've read.
Because they said he's not big enough to play defensive end. He had to move to kind of an outside linebacker. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think he's listed at like 6'3", like 255, and the knock has really been that like they don't think he can stand up and maybe drop into coverage or do some other things that outside linebackers would do. He'd be more of just like a straight ahead pass rusher, which I mean he was pretty darn good at that this year. So he's had that question like hanging over him to begin with, but even with that he's still been checked out pretty solidly as a prospect. So if he fell 3 or 4 rounds, I think that would say a lot about the NFL locker room culture.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ryan, we're going to get you out of here. If you don't have anything else to add about Michael Sam, you can follow Ryan on Twitter as well. That's at RyanHood19, I believe.
Yes, that is correct, Jamal.
All right. Anything else for us, Ryan?
Thanks for having me.
No, Ryan, we appreciate it, and good luck the rest of the way for Mizzou basketball. You'll be in the tournament. We'll be watching you, I guess.
I don't know about that.
Huh? Yeah, Mizzou's haven't looked so great either, actually, lately. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jamal.
All right. Thank you for that, Ryan. We still got some tickets to give away here in a couple of minutes, but I want to get you guys' thoughts on Michael Sam and as far as the NFL and how ready they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a good point that was raised was, no one's going to be dumb enough to be like, that's wrong, I don't want him. I think it's the guys who didn't tweet that you got to worry about. And certainly, I think there will be some bad apples in that respect. But one thing that came to my mind, actually, and maybe this is me, taking this in a direction that it shouldn't go, but I think it's sort of good and bad when you see the general public's reaction to this, when you compare it to like, say back when Jackie Robinson entered Major League Baseball as the first black player, and it was really polarized, I think, and people weren't afraid. So I think it's both good to see that, I guess, the equality aspect has progressed to that extent where someone's different and they can be openly accepted. But at the same time, I think, I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, what interested me about it was that how is so many players on the team, and also just within that Missouri community, and how a lot of people know about it, but no one said anything, and it really just goes to show how much of an impact that Michael Sam has. We go to a college campus, it's people gonna have opinions regardless, but the fact that no one said anything, that's real intriguing to me.
Yeah, I remember about maybe a month and a half ago, I was reading a Deadspin article on Chris Kluwe, the Minnesota Vikings punter, who, just for supporting equal marriage laws, that he was getting a lot of flack from people within the organization, head coach, other coaches, and so it's going to have to take a whole organization to really accept him. And if he can find a situation like that at Mizzou, that'd be wonderful. But just like one team.
Yeah, and one of the things too is that as we've grown and with the ages, people have gotten more accepting and progressive. Obviously, that college can't. Right now, 22, 18 or so. It's fine. You're gay. That's great. We knew that already. And even people who are 7, 8 years old, that won't even be a thing to them. As far as like black, white is not really a thing to them.
Right.
The thing is maybe people who grew up in the older generations that are maybe late 50s, 60s.
Those old ball coaches.
Exactly. And you'll still run into, when you get into the NFL team, you run into from the whole organization, not even just the coaches, but you're talking general manager, talking the owners, talking about people in the front office. You got that whole spectrum of, he's going to be 20, I think he's 24, but you have 22-year-olds and you got 62-year-olds. So if you go to Steelers and Dick LeBeau, you got 92-year-olds. So you got a lot of just different perspectives, and it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. I am glad that what Ryan was saying is that now everyone's kind of saying, okay, we're tired of hearing about this. It's over. And it's up 24 hours after, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think I think that's with the whole marriage equality movement starting to get just widely accepted to the point where people are like, oh, he's gay. All right, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. I wasn't interested in dating that person anyway. I don't know them. Yeah. Like, it truly is like a private matter.
Right.
So I mean, more so than something like race that is phenotypical that you see, and if you have problems with that, you're going to know it right away.
Right.
But with something like sexual preference, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, especially with the private things. Like, I don't care what Jay Cutler's wife is doing or who she is or whatever. I just care that he doesn't throw interceptions.
Well, we care what Chris Cavalieri's doing.
I don't. As a football fan, I don't.
I know. It doesn't impact what the Bears are doing.
Exactly.
So, anything else?
Okay. So, I think the notion here is that we're giving a collective badass of the week to Michael Sam.
Yes.
I do want to give a shout out to Illinois wrestler Tony Delago, who set the all-time program record for pins, which is, like I had said this earlier, pins are sort of the point of wrestling. So that's a big record for him to have. Jesse Delgado won a national title last year, and as far as the program goes, Tony Delago is not really I wouldn't think that he would be the face of the program, but he now owns one of the most prestigious records for the program. So shout out to him. Beating people in wrestling is pretty badass, I would say, and he's done it by pinning people, which is
impressive.
Shout out.
Got tickets to give away. If you call right now to the station, we're gonna take a third or fourth caller here. Sean Patel, our producer, is going to decide that. I'm not going with the math here. But 217-337-1071. Again, call right now to win 2 tickets to Illinois basketball versus Ohio State this Saturday night at State Farm Center. I believe the game tips off at 7. 217-337-1071. I want to thank all my guests that came on today. Thank all our guests that came on today. Illinois baseball, and good luck to them the rest of this way. And Ryan Hood from the Columbian. Down there at good old University of Missouri. Where are they?
Mizzou.
They're just Mizzou. We'll be back here again for another hour of exciting hot takes in sports time. All these hot takes to get around. We got to get some lukewarm takes maybe next week here. This is the Illini Drive. Now back to Champaign's Alternative, WPGU 107.1.